Hello, welcome to another video where today we're going to be discussing an awesome circuit workout that you could use for incredible strength gains and fitness, but this one is specifically with bearing in mind for the person who's involved with some sort of combat sport like wrestling, MMA fighting, boxing to some degree, but very much like the grappling sports where there's an immense amount of strength but combined with some power of different movements and different combinations of things. So I'm going to take you through this workout. So the first one that we just saw was the deadlift, and that was obviously a traditional exercise where I can't really say anyone that wouldn't need that. That's an awesome exercise for hip strength and just overall group strength, and it sets the platform for everything to come. So I would include that in everyone's workout. This one being the cable press or cable push with a weight shift. This is very much simulating the boxing sort of, the striking pattern where the strength is not from the arm, it's from the leg. So it's the leg drive and really building up some huge rotary power. So in this position here where he's loading up his leg, this is the key to it. You can see how the leg and then all the core is wound up like a spring ready to explode out. So everything, all the energy comes up through his leg and at his hand as he pushes. So it's all through there. That's where the power's being driven from this. All right. So a great exercise that you could use. So it's much more useful to use a one-arm one than a two-arm movement. And chest presses, which we'll show you in a minute, they have some sort of function involved, but nowhere near as much as that one for the striking sports. Now we move into like a standing wood chop, where we're really going to try. Now, if we had a partner, which we do in some of these, we might even throw this barbell. Much more explosive movement, and really builds again that rotary power and strength from the legs. We're just showing you a handful of reps on each of these, but you would try to build up, like in most of these, maybe 6 reps to no more than 10. This one here is the bench press. So again, nothing exciting or different about this exercise, but the way that we do it is where the challenge gets involved. And Dylan here sort of avoids going to the extreme that we want. We asked him for a 5-second hold. He probably took the first 3 reps, maybe doing only 2 or 3 seconds. So what he needs to do is stop at this halfway point. So where his arms are sort of locked in that isometric hold. So everything sort of is getting pummeled here with time, not necessarily the load. All right, and then we ask him to take it right down and then push out of it. All right, now this is crucial for the wrestlers because a lot of the time they are stuck in static positions with where they're just gripping and really exhausting the muscle, but they're not even moving. So incorporating this within the circuit is very important because it sort of simulates the exact feeling that they're going to have and prepares the muscles for the fatigue that's about to come. So this is a simple exercise, and again, a bench press, I'm not a big fan of the bench press, but for a wrestler or a Jiu Jitsu guy spending a lot of time on their back, this may actually be quite a very functional movement. All right, so now moving on, I've got Nathan to complete some of these as well, so we're sort of mixing it up, but ideally this would be one person doing all of these exercises back to back. So no rest in between any of them, just trying to knock them out. And this one's, again, nothing fancy about this. This is just your traditional farmer's walk. And again, an excellent choice for that combat sort of person, or especially the wrestlers, who just need incredible amount of grip strength. Grip strength is just everything to these guys. So, if you have exercises that encourage it, and this one's awesome because it brings in the walking pattern as well. So it's really building in the function of gait. And bringing in the rest of the system. We've done many videos on these before. Make sure you check the description under this video because I'll put a few links of the expanded articles and stuff you can check out that gives you a bit more detail, whereas this video we're just skimming over a lot of the stuff. So the farmer's walk, again, I would probably go more for distance than weight. I'd probably be like Nathan just did a short one for the sake of the video, but we would probably ask him to look for at least 60 metres where then he probably only went about 20 metres. All right, now straight after that we're going to throw in the duck walk. Now the duck walk is a very unusual exercise. This is really sort of building a squat pattern. And again, for the wrestler, this is where they're stuck in this, in a static position where they can't get out of it. And we're asking Nathan to add a bit of resistance to this and then just walk. And loading, I don't know if you've ever tried this before and you think this is crazy and doesn't look like much, give it a go and you'll find out very quickly how fatiguing it is to your quads and how hard it is to stay quite low. And you're backing it up amongst all the other stuff that we've just done, extremely exhausting. And so you can sort of see there's a common theme to all of these things. We're going to go from static holding sort of positions, annihilating the muscles with time, and then moving into something that's the exact opposite, where it's short and rapid and explosive, which is very similar to the sport. So you see Nathan now is going to move into a medicine ball slam. So he's gone from his gripping sort of stuff and isometric holds. Now he's moving into his really explosive slamming stuff. So this is, again, nothing exciting about this. Probably in slow-mo this doesn't look as fast as what it really is, but he's sort of slamming. This is a 8 kilo medicine ball that he's slamming into the ground. And again, great for takedowns. And then if you don't do wrestling or whatever, this is also an exhausting workout you can give a go. All right, so that'd be moving into an explosive one. Now he's going to come into the battling ropes again. These are an awesome thing to throw in the middle of everything because it brings the lactate. So this is when we start to really see the lactate threshold crossed, and this is when the cardiovascular system kicks in. As much as the grip and everything starts to give up on you, this is when the breathing really becomes a problem. And we would time this workout to be a length of a bout. So if you're an MMA fighter, like 5-minute bouts rounds. So we would want this circuit to last 5 minutes. You can see Nathan's going to change to a different style here. He's going to go the alternating one, which is a lot harder than the double-handed wave. And again, probably on this set we might be looking for 15 to 20 seconds, no more than that. All right, and then moving into the next thing. And bearing in mind of all of the stuff he's done so far, each exercise gets harder and harder as he goes. So we'll sort of see towards the end we'll move to the floor ones, but I wouldn't really say they're easier, they're just different. All right, so Dylan now is going to do some sledgehammer slams. So first he's going to do the overhead slam. He's just going to bash this tyre, and again we're trying to look for explosive movement. Again, with the slow-mo, probably doesn't look as fast as it really is, but we want him to really whack that tyre, getting some left-handed ones and then some right-handed ones. So you'll see Dylan in a second will switch to his right hand, so we get even them out. All right, and you can see he's probably not too keen on the right hand because he's a left-hander. All right, so then we'll whack some right-handed ones as much as the lefty. Again, maybe 6 to 8 reps, no more. If you do too many, it sort of slows it down, and it's really meant to be an explosive power movement than just like the ropes, more for time. All right, so now we're going to go for the slam where we come from the side. This is a much harder version of the sledgehammer slams, and you'll see Dylan will get the tyre moving up, so he's going to have to use a tyre flip here to get it up, and in a second you'll see the tyre flip thrown into it. That's where you might need a partner for this, where they're going to have to hold the tyre, or if you've got somewhere where you can rest it against and it's not going to fall over on you. This is a much harder version. You might need a smaller hammer on this one sometimes. If you've got like a 5 or a 10 kilo hammer, the 10 kilo is better for the overhead one. 5 kilos is enough for this one. And again, this is where just really that real good striking, so good for the kickboxers and stuff where they're really trying to come through low and kick hard. Again, very exhausting because it's just so fast. All right, so a great one you can throw in. And again, you probably look for a left and a right-handed version of this. Just for the video, we'll do the lefty. Now we'll show you the tyre flip with the wrestle, which we've shown on one of our other videos earlier this week or last week. So this is where Dylan has to, this is again where the deadlift becomes from the very beginning. So he's really needing a deadlift with extreme power, and he's going to flip it really fast. Nathan's going to resist it and try and push him over with a wrestling move, and you might sort of aim to get that in about 5 to 6 seconds, and then we'll get another rep. Probably no more than 5 or 6 reps on this for sure, because it's really, really tiring. And go straight back into another one. Nathan's just there to sort of trying to throw the tyre back down. So here he comes, bang. Nathan comes at the push, and that's where the wrestle part comes into it. Again, very, very tiring when you're backing them up all in a row. So it just doesn't look like it does it just. But these guys only do a handful, and you You can ask them. You could, if you saw them, they would all tell you that it's really tiring. Okay, here's one more. You see he's starting to already slow down, and then Nathan starts to win because he's fresher. All right, and then straight after this one, we're going to see Nathan move into some more of the floor-based exercise. So we've done most of the standing stuff. Now we're going to move to the floor. All right, so now we're going to bring in the king of the floor ones, being the Turkish Getup. And we probably maybe 2 reps tops on this, but sometimes 1 rep is enough. And just going for pretty much your best lift that you can do. So Nathan will give us 1 rep on each side. Awesome exercise. This is where probably different to most of the ones we've seen so far. This one really demanding a lot of mobility through the body. So it's where you have to sort of, if you've just become strong and you've got a little bit too much stiffness, it won't help you on certain movements, especially in grappling positions. You do need to work on your mobility, and this is where one exercise that does demand a lot of it. All right, so this is a great one. We probably could throw this in several times within this circuit if we wanted to. We could put it at the start, in the middle, and at the end, just depending on the person and if it's relevant for them. But a great exercise that you could use, that's an all-over thing. All right, so Nathan demonstrating good technique on this. He's used to doing with a 40 to 50 kilo dumbbell, and this one's only a 25, so he's doing this with little effort. So after this one, he's going to go to the floor, and we're going to include some of the rolling type movements and really building into the strength for his groundwork. All right, so and throw that dumbbell down. All right, so now we bring in some 2 kettlebells, and he's going to do in his groundwork. So this is very similar to the get up just now. And now he's just rolling around, trying to build up some almost like a striking position in his guard floor position here. All right, so you're just going to roll up, and it's like a push up with the kettlebell. And you've got to try and keep the other one close to his chest. So then he'll roll up so that he doesn't lose balance. Key is to try and keep his legs on the ground so they don't flick up. There we go, that was better form. And he will just roll from side to side. So it's a lot easier than the other ones, but by now you're getting pretty tanked. And again, just getting in some different work. If you're more of a striking sort of sport, then you probably mightn't need these ones. They're great to add in because good for rotary strength and that as well. But if you're more a standing up person, maybe these ones aren't the best for you. After he does this one, then we do the explosive sort of sit up with the overhead press. And again, it's another one that's quite a tricky one, and people don't realise how hard it is until they do it themselves. All right, so then we bring in a heavier kettlebell. Those ones were 8 kilos. This next one's going to be a 16 kilo. So he's going to go single arm with this, and then just explode up without his legs leaving the ground. All right, so where he's learning to keep a really good core control. All right, so he's got in his rack position here, lift the arm overhead, and then he'll explode up into a full sit-up without his feet leaving the ground. There you go, perfect. All right, and this is just a nice one to throw in at the end. Just adds that little bit of extra control when you're under fatigue, trying to get all these different things out. You could mix up the order of this workout for sure. Like I said, you could throw in extra get-ups if you wanted to. You could throw in extra cable presses if you're a striker, perhaps. It's up to you how you slice and dice it, but, and there's a lot more other things we could throw in. We could even throw in some boxing if we wanted to, but this is just to give you a good idea of how you can create a really good circuit that maybe lasts for 3 to 5 minutes. Most boxing rounds are 3 minutes, mixed martial arts 5 minutes, so try to aim for something around about there, rest for about 3 or 5 minutes, and then try it again. And do it about 3 or 4 times. And trust me, by the end of that, you wouldn't want to do any more. You should be really feeling everything worked out, and it's simulating the movements, the strength you need with the isometric and the explosive power. So that's what you're really trying to. The takeaway from this is really trying to get grip strength for a long time, isometric strength into the legs and everywhere really, and then mixed with the explosiveness of other things. All right, and then if you do that, you're really giving yourself a good chance. All right, so I hope that video gives you some good ideas, and you might have some better exercises yourself that you could throw in there. Try and keep it well balanced, and and then do your other training that complements it, and negates any of the damage from this sort of stuff, and you'll be fine. All right, so check out the description, because I've chucked in some links for you there to help you out with extra information, but that should give you enough to get started. All right, so I hope you enjoy that. See you on our next one.